vice chair of the Hispanic Latino Association, which goes by the word of HOLA. And I'm also over here, I'm a project manager for hardware projects, hardware development. So I would like to welcome everyone and thank you for taking time to be with us and to support this panel discussion. We're very excited because we are interviewing one of the DC United team members, soccer players, Felipe Martins. We have been looking to have Felipe come to Houston, or the DC United team to come to Houston to play over here, but for whatever reasons, there have been some delays. When they show up, we're going to make a group and we're going to go and be behind you so you can win that game. So before we get started, let me just say that I want to talk a little bit about, check always the HOLA page. We have events, we have a calendar, and we are always looking for members. And if you become a member, we will send you an HOLA shirt. So we are still trying to grow our group from that perspective. Okay, so this presentation is being recorded. And we will make it available at a later time. We will post that information in the HOLA ERG Prism page. And at the end, we're going to run a raffle. We're going to be giving out 2 items, a signed jersey that Felipe provided to us, and also a soccer ball that has his autograph. So, but that is at the very end. The way that it works is everyone that is signed up, we will import the names into a raffle application, and then the application will select randomly who the winners are, and we will post who wins in the HOLA page after the event is done. So let's see. So our presentations are normally, we are trying to focus on culture, on diversity and inclusion. Those are aspects that are very important for Lidos. And certainly while we focus on the Latino aspect, HOLA supports all of the ERGs that Lidos has, because we firmly believe that it is important to have that inclusion and diversity in the company. There is great strength and value in everything that every different human being provides to the company. So let me give you a little bit of information about Felipe. Felipe is in his 3rd season with DC United and the 10th overall year in Major League Soccer. He was born in Engenheiro, Beltrão, Brazil. Did I say that?
Brazil.
And he joined DC United in 2019 after having played with the New York Red Bulls and the Montreal Impact teams. Since his acquisition, Felipe has become an integral member of the team, and he's recognized for his on-the-field leadership and his passion for giving back to the community outside of his soccer role. So let's start. Welcome, Felipe. Thank you for taking the time to be with us.
Thank you, everyone, to having me. Whoever doesn't give me hard question gonna win the prize.
You cannot control that, Felipe. Okay, so let's dive in. And can you give us a little bit information of who you are?
Okay, my name is Felipe Martins. I'm born in Brazil. Very long time ago, as you guys can see. I'm very old. But yes, I grew up in Brazil. I left Brazil when I was 15 to go to Italy. But until then, I started my career when I was very young. In Brazil, it's not the richest country in the world. And I come from one of those families that, wasn't very successful at that period. And many have other choice. And in Brazil, we don't have many. So either you are poor or you try to work on something, you try to study, but I chose to play soccer. I knew that was from 10 kids in Brazil that's born, 9 wants to be a soccer player, which is very hard to become. But I follow my passion. I follow what I believed I was born to do. And I was never the best player on the team, but I was always the hardest worker. I made sure that no one would work more than me, and until this day, that's my goal every single day. Many gonna be better than me, many gonna have more skills than me, but nobody gonna have the willingness to do what it takes to win and do anything possible on and off the field to be successful. My my passion for the game is since I'm very young, and that was my my drive, what drove me to be where I am today and live in Brazil. I left my house, my parents, when I was 10 years old. Was very hard to leave, but I had a goal in my mind and I had to follow that. I lived for the past 20 years away from my family. I didn't have a normal childhood, so I had to grow up very quickly to understand and to survive in this outside world that is very crazy. I've been through a lot, and we would need a much longer Zoom call for me to tell you all everything that happened. But I moved to Italy when I was 15. When I got there, I couldn't order a water, but my street smartness throughout the years gave me a little extra survival mode experience, and that's what made me learn 5 languages. I never finished school, but I speak 5 languages, and I've lived in many countries. I read a lot of books. Hope one day I can finish school. But I have two child. One is 7 years old. Another one is 3 years old. My wife is Italian. I met when I played in Italy, and I feel very very lucky to be a professional soccer player. Sometimes many forget that is a privilege, to be where we are today. But I look back on my career, I'm very proud to what I've accomplished and what I got till now. Unfortunately, last year I had a knee surgery. I got injured, but it's just a bump on the road. I'm back on my feet again. I've worked like no one ever worked before. Soon gonna be a video coming out from the team. You guys can see a little bit of my work ethic. It's not to prize myself, but I'm very humble and honest to say that I'm very proud to who I am and who I has become. And I always believe so much in myself, and I always will, because it's not so easy to get here. I've been through a lot in my life, and now I try to give back to my kids, to the community, to others that maybe one day they're gonna be where I am now. And thanks for maybe a little help that I can give to people, because sometimes sports not only about skills and ability to move the ball, but it's also the ability to understand that everything in life goes through mentality and through hard work. I have a phrase that I always tell my kids and other kids, that you won't own your choices and you earn your future, because every choice you make in life, it's your decision. You gotta own every single decision, but your future, you gotta earn it. You gotta work hard, because no one gonna give you anything. So yes, that's a little bit about me, and you guys can ask me anything, because I work better under pressure. So
All right, all
thank you.
right. Okay, so that was very insightful, and thank you for sharing that. I think that you will find, and you probably have experienced that among us, there are many people that have probably had a similar background, right? That they're the first ones that were able to make it to college in their families, and to try to achieve a little bit of a better life than the previous generation. So but definitely very proud to hear that. I mean, that is a incredible success story. So now, as a Latin American parents are always talking about you're going to school. I don't care if I'm going to kill you. You're going to school, right? And I am an example of that. There was in my life there was no second option. I had to finish college to achieve. So yes, in Brazil, the socioeconomic conditions are somewhere more strained than perhaps in other parts of the world. Were your parents like that, or were they realistic about, soccer is the thing that you need to go for?
I mean, in Brazil, since I was born and until now, still unfortunately the same way. The public schools are not very good. Is even if you go through the schools, it's not 100% that you're gonna get to college and you're gonna be able to do a university. It's not enough. So you really need to, let's say, have money to go to a private school in order for you to be 100% sure that you can get to be a doctor or something like that. So yeah, I was lucky enough to be playing soccer at a very young age that they offered me a scholarship, but wasn't easy, to always be playing because I became professional at 16 years old, and in Italy, so I couldn't really be going to school and being professional at the same time. So I had to drop. My parents always pushed me to go to school, but yes,
It's difficult. It's difficult to manage.
it's very difficult. So I was smart enough to be paying my friends to be doing my homework. So, so
Don't air all of the dirty secrets, Felipe. Leave that for you. We want to leave, we don't want to have a bad example. Um, and so, how does that work? That are there already, representatives from different teams going to Brazil to scout young talent, or did you take an initiative to start contacting teams? How did that work out?
no, I was in Rio de Janeiro and it was representative of Italian teams every single week there.
Yeah,
It's made to for this purpose to bring Brazilian players to Europe, and that until this day is very common.
yeah, because they
People
know the
scouts
talent that is coming out of the country.
everywhere in the world, and yeah, they saw me, they brought me to Italy,
By
and
yourself. You're by yourself, alone, a 16-year-old.
yes, with a €5 in my hand to buy a schedule to call my family. Isn't that nice that everyone getting a private jet in a very nice suite. Yes, for me it was a little different. I didn't have money. I was providing food and everything by the club, but it was very hard to communicate. At that time, we didn't have WhatsApp and all this FaceTime. I had a flip phone, and it was very hard to call with the. I use a lot Skype a lot at that time, but I didn't have the internet in my room, so I had to go to a store and then buy a schedule. But yeah, they at least gave me €5 and I was able to buy a schedule to talk to my family.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, so from an early age, this was your passion. You never explore other sports.
Uh, we don't really play other sports in Brazil. Obviously, we do maybe swimming. You run. A lot of people play other sports, but most of guys and boys
Soccer
and
is the
girls,
focus.
soccer is the main reason. If you don't make to soccer, then they start to to look to other sports. Unfortunately, that's the reality. And
Uh-huh.
Brazil, it's soccer is a religion.
Okay. So how has your experience with the soccer with the MLS been? What can you tell us about that?
I love it. The there's so many countries and people, different experience background coming together to us in everywhere in the world. But I love that MLS always try to be the best, try
Mhm.
to in every aspect to make the best of it. And the way the fans and the people that love the team is in here in America is nothing compared to other parts of the country, because here is very familiar and very kids friendly to go to stadium, and that's what I loved about in here, because here is an sport. In other parts of the country, it's not as friendly as it is in here. The passion, especially in South America, it's much different. It's not safe for kids to go to the stadium. People go to stadium to give the frustration against the players. But here, the love for the sport and the love for the human being other than athlete is what I really appreciate. Because they go to stadium, they support you. Sometimes they might hate you, but 2 hours later they're gonna be love you again. So I really love being here, and I hope I can continue to be here for a long time.
Okay. And so what do you think you consider are, other than language, and having to grow up so fast? You have talked about working very hard, but what are the challenges, once you are part of a team in whichever, Canada or the United States? What are the challenges that you face, and how do you tackle them? I mean, I think challenges will come in all kinds of ways. Some are kind of the physical challenge of how well you're trained and you can respond based on, the complement of other players. But then there are other challenges. We all have certain levels of insecurities. We all have biases. So what do you think are the main challenges that you have had to cope with, and how?
I think there's many challenges. There is 30 other players besides yourself. You cannot think only about you. You got to think about the team. It's always about the team. Every decision that you make in the locker room is about the team, because you cannot be selfish. You got to think about your teammates, um, what he might think. Is he in a difficult moment? Are you in a difficult moment? Everyone has family. Everyone has struggles in life, and sometimes you also got to be honest. You can't always be the tough guy. Sometimes you got to be vulnerable, because they become your family, and your teammates and your coaches, they become your family, so they need to be there to support you. So yes, throughout the years, you face many challenges, but how you deal with those challenges that make who you are, becomes that's the part of the mentality that I was telling you, because you need to deal with a lot of stuff and a lot of pressure, because you representing not only a team, a color, a fans, you're representing a city, you represent a history behind, in this case, this United. So every time you go out, every time you driving, every time you on the phone, every time you on social media, every time you talk to someone, you not only represent yourself, but you're representing the brand. You represented Lidos in this case, because you wearing these brands. So you represent not only yourself and your fan, but you represent so much more. So yes, many people. That's the difference. I was telling you between a good player and you being an average. But maybe the average guy, the average player can deal much easier with those situations, and that's make you go much farther. So yeah, in sports, in as everything in life, you need to first decide who you want to be, who you want to become, because there's many type of person that you can be. You can be selfish, or you can be a team player. You can be, only think about yourself, or you can think about the whole, as a whole, as a team, and that's the difference. And I think throughout the year, you cannot always be perfect, but you learn and you improve, and you try to get better and better every year and every day for yourself, for your family, for your team, and for your teammates.
So, being a Latin American, did you experience any negativity from, as you move into different countries to be part of those teams? because soccer, I would say that is a little bit more diversified than, for example, football or basketball here in the States, right? But everyone has biases, right? And so, being Latino, did you ever feel that some people didn't welcome you or recognize your talent because you were Latino?
If it happened, I didn't had a chance to
Pay attention to it.
to pay attention to it because my first goal in every country, in every, you know, different culture that I've lived in, I always try to blend in, to live and to do their culture. I don't know. I went to Italy instead of being focused on me. I'm Brazilian. I need to eat like Brazilian. I need to do this, and I need to speak Portuguese, and I need to follow this. No, I said, what they do. Who are they? Let me learn their culture. Let me learn their way to do things. Like, okay, they like to drink coffee in the bar. All right, I'm gonna go drink coffee in the bar with them. Let's learn their culture, their way to be. So I went to Switzerland. I don't know. They drink iced tea for lunch. I don't know. So let's eat iced tea for lunch.
Uh,
I try to adapt myself to the way they are, what they live, the way they live every single day. You went to Canada. Okay, they want to speak French. Let's learn French and eat poutine. You know,
uh,
that's who I am. I always try to live the way they live and try to be one of them and not to be, I'm different and I gonna live different. And that was the way I always had success, not only on the field but with the people. I have friends everywhere in the world because
oh,
I
wow.
always try to understand their culture, their way to be, and try to live like them so I can really be all in every
Mhm,
single day, because I am one of them and I'm gonna live like them and be like them because I don't want to be that guy that, okay, I'm
yeah.
Brazilian, I'm gonna stick with the Brazilian culture and Brazilian way of doing things but you need to realize I'm not in Brazil. So why
Mhm,
to bring Brazil with me all the time? So let's
mhm.
live the culture and let's have fun.
Now, I hear Putin is not very good.
it's not
Is
it's
there?
it's really not good, but at the time I
What?
said, guys, I love it.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah. Okay. So, do you have you had the opportunity to return to Brazil after, you have cemented yourself as a recognized soccer player? Have you been able to go to Brazil and in some form or fashion, help things in Brazil? I don't know if it is helping through, the kids or talking to the government about potential initiatives because, when you are in a position like you are a known player, you can use that, as leverage to get more attention for social issues or whatnot. So has that been something that you have been able to address or plan to use?
I've been to Brazil every single year. I go to Brazil with my family, with my kids. And yes, I have like a little organization that help kids with comes that come from poverty and try to help them get to professional. Fortunately, we have about nine players that already professional that we help since they are very young. Many of them it's used to be violent. Has a history of being violent, but one of the things was you need to go to school, you need to have good grades, different than me. Of course, I didn't tell them that.
Of course not.
But yes, I try to help as much as possible every single year when I go. I try to get together with all those kids and talk about the experience. The challenges is that, as I said to you, especially in Brazil, it's very hard. You can talk to them and you can show them, but I'm not there every single day to to teach them. The mentality. With every single kid now, it's very challenging these days. Because many of them have everything easy, so they think life is not as hard as it is out there. So they take years and years to realize that, oh, it's not as easy as I thought, and maybe sometimes it's too late. But yeah, I try to give back as much as I can. But as I said, it's not as easy right now with the mentality, because we making their lives much easier, give them everything so easy.
Were you like a single child in your family?
No, I have a sister. She's 4 years older than me.
Okay.
She's a physiotherapist.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, she's a very successful physiotherapist right now. But yes, I was not the single child.
Okay. Okay. Well, in Latin families, normally, we
Very,
have a lot of children.
yeah, I told my wife two, and that's it. If she need another one, she gonna need to find a new husband. two boys, two
That's
boys.
it.
I'm
I'm
done.
with you. I'm with you. I had just one. I'm with you. It's too hard, this thing.
It is.
So, and in here in the States, are you involved in any organizations to help, whether it is, where you live, or focus on children, or focus on Latinos? Are you involved in anything?
I am with the MLSPA, the Players Association, and
Okay.
our focus is my focus. I came this year to MLSPA to help teach all the Latin Americans that come to MLS, a little bit how it works around here, all the rules and how many things that obviously when you get here you knew in the United States it's very hard. And yes, my focus is on the Latinos to help them with the language and to help them understand everything. There's a lot to learn here in MLS, in the United States, because a lot of stuff is very different than in our countries. And I live in Alexandria, Virginia, and there's a club next to where I live, where my son plays with them, and I always try to be involved with the kids, and try to. I always try not to talk about I want to teach soccer skills, because I think soccer is much more than this. It's about, first of all, creating your mentality, because if you have the right mentality, you're gonna bring that not only for your soccer career. If you are not a soccer player, you're gonna bring it to your work, for whatever you become, because a mentality, it goes for everything. If you don't have that mentality, you're gonna fail in many stuff in your life, because it can be on soccer, you can be as a builder, you can be a cleaning, whatever you do. If you don't have the right mentality, you're probably gonna fail in your life. So I think for me the most important is building the mentality, the right mindset, and every day be positive, because positivity is much stronger than negativity.
Yes, I totally agree. It seems, there is so much distraction out there, and so uh, well, we as adults can lose the focus of what is important, and so imagine that for children who don't have yet the maturity, right? And so to guide them, and it's like you say, there is so much that kids can have now that is kind of a comfort living, that it is even hard to kind of guide them through that path of, it is nice to have all this, but you still have to work if you want to have those things in the future. So it is challenging. It's amazing. You're always striving to have a better life, and you don't think that that is going to become, an obstacle to a certain extent in raising your children, right? Because you want them to do even better than you have done. So it is kind of a little dichotomy there that
Yeah.
we have to handle.
And it's so funny, but there's the Tutti Fairy, there's the Santa, there's so many people coming all year long. Fortunately, I've learned it very young that was nothing of that was true. So
Uh-huh.
I never expect anything. So, but for children right now, it's difficult, because they expect something every year. Oh my God, he has so many tooths. Imagine if I'd give something for every tooth, I'm gonna be broke.
Yeah, that's why you start with a quarter. That's why you start with a quarter. But some of them won $1, some of them won the $5. But yeah, it is like you say. There is too many rewards around here.
It
It
is.
is a good life. Um, so tell me a little bit about who have been your role models.
Uh, it's gonna be very funny, but I I always was very lonely, playing other countries, being by myself, not speaking the language. For in the beginning of my career was very, always by myself, and my only focus was training every single day. So I was my own motivation. I've created a person inside a person to be my own motivator and not depend on anybody, because life out there, you don't gonna have a lot of people pricing you, saying good job. So you create that inside you to motivate yourself every single day, and also to be there to say bravo, well done when it's needed to be. So this way you don't need anybody else other than yourself to succeed. And that was the way I found to for me to don't depend on anybody. And until this day, obviously I'm very thankful to my family, to my wife, to always be supportive. But I don't need people to be pricing me or to be saying well done. I understand when I make mistakes, and I understand when I make good things, and I'm not trivial by people. I don't need the people to be there saying well done for me to feel good, and that's one of my strengths, because many people, when it's everything is okay, gonna be there for you, but when you need them the most, they don't gonna be there for that for you, so yeah, last year that's what happened. It's you get injured, all of a sudden everyone forgets about you. Imagine if I needed anybody to be there for me saying good job. That's why most of athletes, when they go through injuries, they go through very dark moments, and usually they recovers, but it's very little percentage that recovers. And throughout the process, I didn't need anybody to be there for me, So that's one of the things, and one of the luck things that I've learned throughout my career, and that's it's something that people need to learn, because when you need only yourself to succeed, you have a much higher chance of doing well in your life.
Okay. How about game wise or skill wise, right? Like, obviously, we think of Pele, right? That is worldwide known. Was he, or are there other players that you have said, that guy plays is fantastic. I would like to be at that level, right? Or I want to conquer those skills.
Yeah, I think I never really was said I want to be like Pelé, to be fair, but I wanted to be like Cafu, as an example. He failed to be in a team for 10 times, but he tried 11th, and he made it. So it's easy for you when you talk about soccer to talk about Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, but I
Uh-huh.
always try to find a
Kind of the underdog,
the underdog, because the underdogs are much more
working harder and
arc hard. Is the story is much beautiful than being just Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi. But yeah, that's the way I am. Many gonna disagree with me, but I always prefer the hardest work in the room.
okay. Have you played as a professional in Brazil?
No,
You have
I,
never,
I
haven't had that opportunity.
didn't have that opportunity, but I'm happy right now.
Very nice. Okay, so you have children, and
Yeah.
and they're pretty young. So I am of the philosophy that whatever I have learned as an adult, there are things that you learn at work. There is training that they give you at work, like sexual harassment. And one day I was taking my training, and I said, you know what? I have a daughter. I can pass some of this information to this little being, even though she's very young, but I can adapt it so she can start learning those things, right? And so again, it's part of the of wanting to teach them what you know, but at an earlier stage, right? And I know that, for example, my daughter is just turned 20, and sometimes she speaks of things, and I know that I didn't conquer that until I was like 35, right? So I can see what I have invested, that it has paid off for her, especially as a woman. So what is your strategy with the little ones?
I took the same course you had, uh, and I think everyone should take. It's very important to understand about all the perspective. What I try to teach my little ones is that's why I bring them to Brazil, and I always talk. Not everyone is so lucky like you. You
Mhm.
know, I make them run and play with no shoes, so they have the feeling of not having the shoes.
Uh-huh.
you know so yes, I try to make them live like I was when I was little young, to have that perspective. It's I think in life is all about perspective. Until you don't see it, you don't feel it. You can't familiarize with those type of situations. So it's putting them in those situations to make them, not to make them, but to allow them to live
To
in
experience that.
those experience. And I think it's very important, in every single day remind them what's really important in life, and who gonna be there for them, not only in 2 years from now, but in 10 years from now, in 20 years from now. And that also slowly try to make them understand that I'm not always gonna be there for them. I'm not gonna always be there to, if somebody tackle you on the field, or if you fell and you get hurt, but how you react on those situations if I'm not there. So it's always prepare them to the outside world. I think my job as a parent obviously is to give them love every single day, but as well to prepare them to live on the outside world.
Mhm.
Because we as a parent, it's always, they are young, we need to be calm, and we need to be gentle, and we need to be positive, and we need to teach them this, and you make them feel love, and they grow up thinking that this we live in a beautiful world, everything gonna be beautiful. I'm gonna go to school, I gonna learn, I'm gonna go to university, I gonna party, I gonna get drunk, then I gonna marry, I gonna have kids, and it's not, life is not like that. you
Mhm.
know but if you teach the bumps on the road and what he gonna struggle in life, maybe when those time come, they're gonna be a little bit more prepared for. And maybe one day he are actually gonna be, thankful to me that I teach them the opposite what
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know uh, I'm supposed to be teaching. Not that I don't teach, but I also focus on things that um, he actually gonna struggle in life.
Hmm. And so is your wife on the same mentality?
Yeah,
Because okay.
she's kind of easier. I'm more intense. I
Uh-huh.
my life very intensely, intense.
And
So
so it's a typical kind of Latin family.
she
Yeah.
she's
Someone is more.
more, like she tries to make it prettier, when telling. I tell without filters, without going around. I
Yeah.
prefer go through the wall than going from the door. So that's who I am.
Yeah, and I know that, well, at least in Puerto Rico, I'm thinking that other Latin countries do the same, but in Puerto Rico we have a saying is "ay bendito," poor baby. And so, as much as you're
For
trying to
me.
help,
For me.
yeah, you're always having that. And I know that I had to break that. I mean, I never thought that that was kind of part of me, but I noticed, oh my God, no, this is a time where I have to be tough. So she learns what she needs to learn. So,
First thing
Latin families curse.
First thing when I got hurt, I told them, "Don't be sorry for me.
Mhm.
Don't be sorry for me because I don't need nobody to be sorry for me because when I get back, I'm gonna be kicking your butt. So don't be sorry for me now because then after you're gonna regret.
Already. Now tell me, how long do does a person play soccer? I mean, what is your cap age?
There's not really a cap age because
Okay.
obviously injuries can change that.
Okay.
You live every single year trying to be to prepare yourself in your body the best way possible. If you take care of your body and if you're a true professional, you can play longer, you know. The average age, I believe, is around 33, 35, 36-year old. There's players that play more, there's players who play less. It always depends on the position, how you took care of your body, and how well you lived your life. Obviously, if you go party every single day, I don't think you're gonna
Your
be
life long.
longer, you know. So yes, that's but not it's not really an age because you never know what's gonna happen tomorrow.
Okay. And so when that day comes that you decide it's time to retire, what are how are you going to spend your energy? What do you think are the things that you're going to focus on?
I want to be a coach. I
Okay.
really want to be a coach, and I'm gonna try to do that, and maybe try to give back everything I've learned, and obviously I'm gonna continue to learn from players and from people. But right now, it's always about thinking about what you're gonna do next, but always enjoy what
What
you
you're doing
doing
right
now. Right now, I'm enjoying coming back from injury. I'm 9 months right now. I'm back on the field, slowly getting back to my best form. You know, it's like you're running from the sides.
now.
People looking, seeing you, but you're there. You know, when you get come back to strong, then they're gonna be cheering for you again.
Surprise.
How I feel.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so we are kind of coming. I want to have an opportunity for people to ask you questions. And so, as we wrap up this discussion, our intent is to invite people from different walks of life. Sorry, I my screen just went out. But to invite people from different walks of life to understand who they are and how they approach life, how they address their challenges. Because everyone, I always think that people, each person is like a little world, right? It doesn't matter if we come from the same country or the same neighborhood or the same block in that neighborhood. Their life shapes us all different, and so that's what we bring those experiences. And so, having said that, what do you think is the message that you want to leave us with as we kind of wrap up this discussion?
I think when you struggle in life, the first expectation is for people to feel sorry for you. You want to show that you are struggling. You want to show that you're sad, and you just want someone to be feeling like you. And I think my message is you should never feel sorry for yourself or expecting people to feel sorry for yourself. As long as you can walk, you can eat, you can wake up and walk with your own legs and be able to wash your tooth, that means you alive. And that's for that you should be grateful, you should be thankful every single day. And as long as you have that, you can do anything in your life. Because I have examples of friends that people people think, oh my God, and I don't have a work, but they have a selection of the type of work they want to do. So actually, it's not that you don't have a job, you are being too picky, and you're expecting something special for you to work. So you shouldn't be feeling sorry for yourself because you have the opportunity to work. Go to work, do what you can do now, and then think to the next steps. Don't be so special and so fragile on expecting people to feeling sorry for yourself and expecting the perfect work for you to feel better. Go out there, work, do whatever you can to provide for your family, for yourself. Be positive and focus on what you have and not what you wanted to have or what you wish to have. Because if you stay at home feeling sorry for yourself and wishing for that, you're never gonna have anything in your life. So nothing gonna be good for you. You gotta earn, and every choice you make, it's your choice, not others. So don't bother yourself of saying that's not my fault and it's other fault, but everything in your life, it's your own fault because you choosing to be that way, and you choosing to be sad, and you choosing to be feeling sorry for yourself.
Okay, good message. But I think that is very applicable to many of us. Okay, so with that, I would like to see if there are questions among. Oh, there is one there. Okay, I don't know that I can see it. Can someone? There is a couple. I cannot see the question. Can now I see. Who is the hardest working MLS player you have played with or against?
Who?
Yeah. Who is the hardest working MLS player you have played against?
That I've played against. I think Alonso is a Cuban from Minnesota. He's a hard worker, a very honest guy, and yeah, he's one of the toughest players I've played against.
Why was that? Was that just physical?
He has a great mentality,
Okay.
a great mentality, a great player, and a very tough guy. Yeah, I love to play against him.
Okay. Marta Sanchez has a question. She says, hold on. When only relying on yourself, how does it feel about the Olympians and the recent tennis champion who was shamed over mental health? I don't know if it's. I guess there was a question on mental health or a
Yeah.
statement that someone made. Was it? It wasn't Serena. It was Osaka.
Yes, yes, and she talked about it, and she was very criticized. I think she did the right thing. You need to speak up. You need to, as I said, it's okay for you to be vulnerable. As a professional athlete, sometimes it's people think are you weak if you say about you having mental struggles, but guess what? We are human beings. When you go home, we have a family, we have a normal life, and we feel like normal persons, even though we sing as a professional, we sing as a more of a star, but in the end, we are all the same.
Yeah, it seems it's interesting because now during COVID, obviously the mental health, we have all become very aware of mental health, right? Because we have been constrained and the variables have changed. And it's kind of interesting that because of what I would qualify minor constraints, right, in light of a pandemic, that it is so stressful. So it has brought light to this particular issue. And yeah, I'm very impressed to, you start evaluating, I can use a little break on here, or I can use some help on that. And so I think from that perspective, that has been a good thing for human beings.
It's said that it should take a pandemic for people to realize that. I think honestly, I think it's sad. I had my mom that struggled with mental health for many years already. There was a point she didn't recognize me as a child, her son, and yes, when I was 16, the doctor said her problem was me, because I left my house.
Oh, okay.
So she started to have mental struggles. So I think it's sad that takes a pandemic for people to realize that probably from 10 people, 9 have a certain type of anxieties or struggle or a mental struggle. But we are too tough to recognize that,
Right.
you
Right.
know, we need help. You need someone, but also you need yourself to be positive and to do something for you to change that. We
Right.
cannot always expect that someone gonna do it for us.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um,
And just to let everybody know, so if you want to ask a question to Felipe, just unmute yourself.
oh, okay. In the meantime, there is another question. If you had the opportunity to join any EPL club, who would you sign with?
EPL,
What is
Premier League.
EPL?
Oh my God, it's a Premier League. You see, you've learned something else today. Yes. It's oh my God, it's a trick question because you're probably a fan of Chelsea, Tottenham, or Manchester United. Yeah, I think Manchester City is a yeah. See, Chelsea, Julie. Sorry, I love Chelsea, but I would go for Manchester City.
And someone asked, how is it going with the new coach?
Very good, very intense, but it's good. It's good because you change our mentality, we changing our way of doing things, so it's always great.
Someone else, Julie Garcia asked, can you talk about the women's soccer? Brazil is one of the world's best sides. Do you have any experience with them? Do you know them?
I've seen them playing many times, and obviously they are much better than many soccer players that I've played with, or much better than me. I don't think there's any issue saying that. I think the women's soccer is growing a lot, and they are getting more respect as they deserve, because I believe the quality on especially in soccer, it's coming to a point that they are getting very very leveled, and we are happy to see it, because they need to get the recognition that they deserve.
Nice. And someone, oh, this Tanya, she said just moved from Houston to DC. She's buying tickets for the DC United. Where are the best seats in the Audi field?
The best seats, it's probably in the middle, because you can see better
Better.
from every first half and second half, but go with our supporters that you're gonna have a lot of more fun than be sitting, eating, eating and drinking, because you're gonna be jumping and celebrating goals with us.
Oh, she will. You might hear her. She's peculiar in that way. She's not here, so I can say that she's in Washington now. So okay, other questions?
Yeah, I actually had a question.
Okay.
Hi, Felipe. I just wanted to say I feel everything you said about your kids. I have 2 children as well, 2 small children, so it's very true. But I want to ask you a little bit about your injury. Do you think that was? Can you expound on a little bit? How challenging was it? Because I know a lot of athletes get that type of injury, and it's pretty hard to come back from. So
Yeah, think about that. First of all, thanks for the question. Say hello to your kids.
okay,
Yeah, in 15 years of professional, in the 10 years in MLS, they have all the data. I've missed seven training, not games, seven training in 10 years. I've missed. I was lucky enough to never had injuries, and I worked for that. But yeah, unfortunately, it was a kick from behind from a Brazilian player that I know. He kicked me, and I got hurt, and I didn't know I got hurt. The day after, I tried to train on a 5v2 on a change of direction. I think I did it completely. It's a very unlucky surgery, injury. But guess what? The moment it happened, I I didn't allow myself to be too sad because I already was in the mindset of recovering. 3 days later, I had the surgery. I was squatting 150 pounds the day before surgery. And yes, we go from there, and the rest is history. I've worked 12 hours a day for the past 9 months. But the most beautiful part is that nobody see all the work I put in. They only see what I put the days and the time I'm on the field. But it's always is what you do without when the cameras is not around, when people is not around, that really makes a difference in your life.
Thanks.
Any other questions? I think that's it. Well, Felipe, this has been a wonderful discussion. I did some research on you, but I couldn't find all of your information from how you grew up and all that type of stuff. So this was very insightful and inspirational to a certain extent, right? Because it is like you have mentioned, you know life is full of obstacles, but we have to be able to say, okay, this happened, and not be so hard on yourself, and pick it up and continue. And it is hard to do for whatever reasons. It is just a hard lesson. So this has been a great talk. We appreciate greatly that you took the time to talk with us. I think all our members have had a great time, and like we said before, we're looking forward to DC United coming to Houston, and we are ready to make a group to go and sit in a section of the stadium and just cover your back and scream out at everyone else. So thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. My son do very well in school, and I'm very tough on him to go well in school. Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys. You guys took your time as well. Not only me took my time, but you guys took the time to be listening to me. And as I said, sometimes in life the hardest part is to do the easy thing. Sometimes we try too hard to do the hardest thing, but sometimes you need to do the easiest thing. We always too focus on doing the hard thing. You need to always do the hard thing to impress people, but sometimes the easiest thing gonna be the most impressive way of doing things. Thank you, guys. Have a great day. Hopefully
Thank you.
see you all very soon, and let's go DC United.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Woo.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Okay, for all the Lidos, we are gonna run the raffle and announce it very soon on the website. And just stand by. We will put some of these pictures, and I'd like to give thanks to Victor and Angel for the great job putting together this, and DC United to helping us with this effort. As you see, one thing I can take out of this presentation of Victor, that Victor Martins is a great man that happened to be a player. His point of view and his dedication throughout his life is something that we need to value, because that's at the end is the way that you have to behave and continue to handle things. But anyway, we will run the raffle in a little bit and then announce it on the website.
Alrighty, and that's a wrap up. Thank you, everyone.
Kendrick, I just sent you the file.
Okay, thanks.